Hello and welcome to Game Boy Advance Classics. In this installment, the game is Ecks vs. Sever, which is based around an early draft of the film Ballistic Ecks vs. Sever. The game was made before the film was actually in production and was based around a script for the film. This is one of several first-person shooters for the Game Boy Advance, and it's actually a pretty decent one at that. The Game Boy Advance was not a system that had any 3D capable hardware, that was not 3D capable hardware, so for it to do first-person shooters, it would have to do basically Doom clones. And as a Doom clone, it's not actually all that bad. There's some decent animation, and there's some things that I think that really work for the game. One thing that you'll immediately notice is that there's no in-game music, and this was a common trait amongst almost all of the first-person shooters on the Game Boy Advance. They seem to all either have sound effects only and be basically silent, or they would have like a little track that would loop continuously. Exceptions were, like the Doom versions and, games like that. Or games that didn't have in-game music to begin with, like Wolfenstein. The game lacks any floor or ceiling textures, as you can see, but at the same time, the game still manages to look fairly decent, especially considering this was originally on a tiny little screen. So here we're playing it, in full screen, so you can see the imperfections a little bit clearer than you would be able to on the real hardware. But at the same time, it's still a decent looking game. First-person shooters are a little bit difficult to do on the Game Boy Advance because, of the limited buttons and, the system limitations in hardware. How do you do a first-person shooter with just a D-pad and 6 buttons? And with 2 of those buttons being, select and start. Well, you do it by carefully choosing what you're planning on doing and making the game suit around the control limitations rather than have the control limitations be sort of an afterthought. So if you care, there is a storyline that's all presented in text, but I'm just skipping through that so I can show you 3 different stages of gameplay. In this stage, you have to get out of this warehouse before a bomb explodes after 3 minutes. The controls in the game are basically just that you can move around, you can shoot, you can crouch by holding down L and R together, you can strafe, you can pause the game, and you can cycle through your weapons. And that's it. There's no manual aiming, there's no jumping. It's all just pretty much your Doom standard first-person shooter controls. I'm not sure what I was trying to do here. I was probably trying to get up on top of that ledge. I thought there was maybe a way to do that, but I guess not. After the release of Ecks vs. Sever here, the film came out, and the film is largely considered to be terrible. It's really, really bad. And, yeah, so don't see the film that it's based on if you haven't yet, but, yeah, because it's not very good. But with that said, the game is actually pretty decent, and it actually had a follow-up game on the Game Boy Advance as well, called Ballistic Ecks vs. Sever, which came out after the film came out. And that game is even better than this version is, but you should still play this game first because you have to appreciate where the second one came from, and the improvements that it has over this are really only evident if you can play the original game first. It was on the Game Boy Advance, so even though that you're killing, you know, these dudes and stuff, there's no blood or anything, so, you know, Nintendo. I gotta get in here, I gotta crouch in there, yeah, now I'm in. Better hurry up. Only have a few seconds left. Sweet. And in this stage, you have to basically hunt this guy down, but at this stage, you get to use your pistol, but also you get grenades, which are fun. How do grenades work on a Game Boy Advance first-person shooter? Well, they basically work very, very primitively, but they're fun to use. So let's switch to some grenades and start using some of these things. Oops, I can't use that yet. I gotta go and bomb the guy first. Yep. Fun. Notice once again, you know, there's no floor or ceiling tiles, but there are wall tiles, and that's all you need, you know? It works. Fortunately, there's a door in the way. Almighty door stopped the blast. It's just, this guy just loves punishment and keeps killing the same guy over and over. So I don't want to shoot, I don't want to throw a grenade right where I'm going to be standing though. Pick those up. Pick that up. Heh. Well, anyway, guys, that'll about do it for this video, so thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the Game Boy Advance version of Ecks vs. Sever, the first game, feel free to leave those in the comment section down below. And once again, guys, I'll see you guys next time for another Game Boy Advance Classics. So, watch as I get murdered because I don't know what I'm doing, I guess. See you next time.